Vaigu Khalsa and Vaigu Fateh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Media Watch on a slightly different level. We haven't been on for a while, but we thought we'd come back and highlight some incredible people that are doing service in the community right now. I've got some fantastic guests to share with you what they're doing out there. I'd like to introduce Gurpreet, who's actually the president of Gurdwara in Shepherd's Bush, and also Ramneet as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to talk about a few subjects, things that are close to our heart, which is Seva, and you guys are doing some incredible work. So thank you again for joining. Appreciate it very much. So let's kick off with the first question.
Thank you for inviting us.
Let's kick off with the first question. No, absolutely. It's I know you're very busy at the moment, and it's good to make some time out. And Sikhs are naturally humble anyway, so we don't tend to tell people what we're doing. But I thought it's important to highlight some of the things that you're up to in the Gurdwara, as well as an outreach set of programs. So, first question to Gurpreet. Now that you're president, congratulations. A few months ago, quite an incredibly difficult time right now for lots of people in the community. Especially those that have actually lost loved ones. The epidemic still is continuing. It's still very hard to get a sense of what's happening around us. The lockdown is affecting every single person, not only in terms of their mental health, but also in the fact that they need to adhere to the rules, but more importantly, stay safe and stay fit as well. Now, in the Gurdwara, there's obviously no attendance because of the risk of infection. You took on board that challenge, and you've been doing a number of things. Tell us about what you've done. Like I said, there's one of the things that's really a negative thing to talk about, which is sadly funerals and the ceremonies that have to take place for that. How is the Gurdwara in Shepherd's Bush coping with this?
So it definitely, we got a new committee elected, a good team, a broad team with many skills. And within 2 weeks of being elected, we've ended up with the biggest challenge I think a committee has faced in many, many generations at the Gurdwara Sahib. We're a very old Gurdwara Sahib, established in 1908. So no one would expect us to have been dealing with a pandemic, which would have required us to close our doors to regular divans. So at the moment, based on government guidelines, there are only certain activities you can be doing at the Gurdwara. Obviously, we keep the Gurdwara Sahib running. We have our granthis on site, so everything has been happening. All the Satkar Maharaj is being done. However, we can't open for regular divans. So what we've been doing to counter around that is being live streaming our regular programs. So the Kirtan still happens, but we live stream it, and Sangat from around the world, wherever they may be, are able to watch and enjoy that Kirtan. It may not be the same feeling as if you're sitting there in Sangat at the Gurdwara Sahib, but we're trying to get it as close to that as possible. We've recently just installed a 4K streaming solution.
Technology that we're installing in the Gurdwara Sahib. So our efforts as committee members has been to ensure that irrespective of what the country is facing, the challenges and what the society is facing, our main duty and job was to ensure that Gurdwara Sahib's program reach out to its Sangat as best as possible. So we have used and extended ourselves to using all social media platforms that we could use, mainly Facebook, YouTube channels. So Gurdwara Sahib has its own YouTube channel that we've created. And a lot of our members, in fact, we have a very great following on Facebook. So live streaming our programs and events on Facebook has actually engaged our Sangat, not just from this country, even from other countries like India, where people have been connecting with us. We have our regular programs. So we have Sukhmani Sahib programs that we connect through Zoom. So, which is on Saturdays and Sundays. This is led by our Sangat themselves. We have children's program we've been conducting. And in fact, children's program have been of great success. And I feel really proud when I talk about it. And we have a beautiful, very committed, dedicated team, volunteers who have been working on this program. So we have Navleen Benji, we have Manpreet Ahuja, we have Manpreet Kaur Anand, Jasween Kaursani, Dipinder Alec. So William, who all these are volunteers who constantly are having conversation of how to keep the curriculum alive. And I think amongst all the negativity that might be around us, I actually take it as a blessing that we have taken this opportunity to find a whole new platform of how to reach out to Sangat who would normally not be attending Gurdwara Sahib as well. So last
And it actually,
program, children's had.
it just shows their flexibility, because I know some of them as well, the ladies that you mentioned and other people that you mentioned, men. They're professionals. They actually are teachers as well, and they're able to
Yes,
adapt
they
their
are.
style, because normally they're used to seeing somebody face to face, but on a Zoom conference you
Yes.
might see them, but you can't touch them in terms of
Yeah.
you're touching them in a different way, but there are different things you need to look out for, especially if it's two-way. But yeah, absolutely, there's the flexibility, but also showing great creativity and spirit to be able to take on board the challenge. Absolutely.
I I think that's true. I think that's what we represent as Sikhi. I think that's the whole concept of the word of Chardi Kala. It's like irrespective what is happening around us, we remain in the state of very positive thinking. I think we take that on beautifully and adapt that and our lifestyle around it. So I think Gurpreet Paji is back, so you can add
Yeah,
more about.
Gurpreet is back. Yeah,
Yes.
he was. It was telling us about the specialist cameras. There is another subject I'd really like to address. I know, Gurpreet, you've got incredible army training background, but we're going to talk about another subject that you're doing, which is basically you're helping with regards to distribution of food, right? Whether it be to the hostels or to the hospitals. We'll come back to that in a minute. But Gurpreet, tell us
Sure.
now.
Yes.
We got a bit cut off before, but you were telling us about the camera equipment that you've installed, and that's going to make it really much easier to broadcast. And it was on that note that Ramneet was telling us that there are streaming sessions that are going on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yes, so we've been doing a lot of streaming. We've been doing sessions on Zoom, as Ramneet covered off, on the education and on Sukhmani Sahib part. We want to try and keep it as interactive as possible, where definitely with the Sukhmani Sahib part, everyone is able to participate in that. The Zoom sessions have been going well, but also we've been live streaming from the Gurdwara. Initially, we're just mobile phones. Then we found a way to get the sound system hooked into the mobile phone to improve the sound quality. But one project which I had already initiated in terms of gathering all the requirements was to actually get a professional broadcast quality streaming setup created at the Gurdwara. One, so we could archive all our Kirtan and have it recorded in top quality in 4K, and the other was so that we could broadcast in a good quality to the Sangat on YouTube, Facebook, and a multitude of other platforms. So the physical hardware has now been installed. We were ready to move quite quickly on that after the outbreak of COVID. And that's all been installed, and we're hoping just that we can improve the experience from the Sangat. But we're getting feedback from all around the world. Someone sent me a video today. They were sitting in Delhi and they were watching last night's program on YouTube, and they took a shot around the room. All the uncles, aunties, everyone was sitting there, chuniya pa ke, chonkri maar ke on the bed, and were watching the program. And it was great to see that people have that shraddha and that the gurdwaras are able to keep everyone engaged. A lot of people have said, I never realized I'm going to miss the Gurdwara this much.
Yeah, well, I
But
mean, it's beautiful to archive it. That's really good.
yeah, no, definitely. The Sangat said they wanted this, so we said, yes, make it so.
I would ask another question. It's quite a difficult one in the context that, part of the Gurdwara is to really provide that calm, that sense of community, right? So you can get that sense of community as well as when you do seva, when you're doing selfless service. But when you've lost a loved one, people may come and just sit and, try and, contemplate and reminisce. That's the thing that you do in the Divan Hall. But the fact that you could hold a Bart, you know, and I've seen that you've done that as well. You've held a part, and they can basically tune in, and they've got that serenity. Not obviously the same thing as being in the Gurdwara, but part has been held.
Yes. So this is a difficult time. We are as a Qom Chardi Kala, and we try to find ways to deal with our problems. So the challenge is the government guidelines came out that funerals are allowed at Gurdwaras. You can have a program, but you got to do it safely. So we've limited it to 20, up to 20 people. Our view is our hall can safely allow for actually probably more than 20, but we've limited it at 20 people can be sat socially separated. And we were able to do a divan for a funeral where for the start of a SIKH part and also for the org of the SIKH part, where the family of the deceased can attend and participate in that. So we're keeping it as near to normal as possible. There's obviously much more rigorous hand cleaning going on, and you'll be noticing people with PPE on, gloves are there, and we're, the prashad, we're doing Qara prashad, but we distribute that in pre-packaged bags just to avoid any sort of risk of contamination.
Fantastic. So let's talk about, because the final part of the program, because we literally, like I said, was really appreciate your time, because you guys are doing a lot of stuff in the Gurdwara, and then you're helping to organise things. So specifically, you're doing some work with everyone else. You're helping to coordinate things. There's langar being made. It's been distributed out in containers, I assume, to hospitals, and also some care home. Not care. I think you're doing food, some shelters for the homeless, and also you're getting some packaging together for food banks as well. Tell us about the kind of I guess the challenges of doing that. Especially when you have to make food. Sometimes people make food together, don't they?
Yes, actually, I'm going to hand over to Ramneek on this one because she's actually led this project, our Langar outreach project, as we thought if people can't come to the Gurdwara Sahib to have Langar, we need to get Langar out there to the community. And now is a greater need for it than ever before. The Gurdwara is just, my view is the Gurdwara Sahib is our training ground for Seva. The Seva is out there in the world outside of our four walls also. So I'm going to hand over to Ramneek to talk more about that.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. I will correct you. I'm not leading on it. We conceived it together. We planned it all together. And we're working on it together as well. I think that's one of the beauty. Just to give a little background as well, I haven't been long in this country, not long enough. And I've been connected with Gurdwara for the past couple of years. And my experience is that I have found a family on foreign lands here. So it has been absolutely beautiful. And for me to hold on to that experience, it was like, when you've had that experience, how do you further share it with the others? And Seva is one of the most beautiful things that has been taught to us. I think it's been given to us in a gurti by our Sikh philosophy, by our religion that we are born in. So when this happened, I think Gurbi Paji and all of us, we got together, and our first was like, how do we reach out to those who need it, and also to our elderlies and anyone else that we would know of? So it was constant brainstorming, getting in contact with the institutions. We have an incredible team, so we have shared responsibility of who does what to make this entire program work efficiently. So we have a team of IT qualified, we have legal team, we have, people who have marketing strategies, background, we have PR team, and then I come with my military background, so I just run with a very military precision. So everything came together very beautifully. I think there was demand for it, and we knew we can do it. I think by Vaiguru's grace, we are skilled that we can cook at a very short notice. We are fully equipped to do that kind of cooking. The entire team, committee members, and the Sangat, they support this project, which is the beauty. And then just we carried on. We are providing around 2,000 or more meals per week to NHS staff, food banks, youth hostels, shelters, elderlies. We start cooking 9 o'clock. We kept meal to be very simple. It's, gluten-free meals we're looking into. And our target is, as soon as those pans come off the stove, within 45 minutes, the food needs to reach its destination. So everyone's opening, when they open those food containers, they're looking at very nice hot meal. It's not just something they need to, reheat. We've had fabulous feedback. We have created ways that not just the organization, even the individuals who are having those meals, they can give us a feedback. There's a link and some beautiful feedback. If you have time, I can read that out to you. I think I firmly believe in the fact, Sadia Das Hundiya, we say, Raj Karega Khalsa. To capture countries, towns, cities, to mark, a country as your own, is a very old thinking. My thinking is, we ਅਸੀਂ ਰਾਜ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਤੇ, we will capture everyone's heart with our love, with our savor. That's how I believe. Jag jeete, as I say, man jeete, jag jeet. That's the philosophy that we believe in. So we have an incredible team of people who cook. So we kept it very small because we have to put the COVID plans in place as well. Social distancing has to be implemented. So it's a very small team of 3 people who start cooking. Then we add to that 3 team with another 3 people who will then become part of the packing team. And then we have 2 teams who take our deliveries and then they distribute it to all different destinations. That's the summary of our saver.
Very good.
That
very well structured and coordinated as well, which you have to be, and also very disciplined to ensure that people are following the process. And you have to be very nice as well to say, this is how you do it, this is not how you do it. There's a little bit of training that needs to happen. Indeed, as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so and you got to be graceful about it and respectful, which is important. But I think all the volunteers that are out there, I mean, I really wanted to do this show just to kind of show people. Like I said before, a lot of people are really humble. They don't talk about it. That's part of Sikhi as well, to be humble. You don't go around showing off. You just actually do what you need to. Make it so, as they say. Yeah. So it's important to to follow that principle. If you've got that idea in mind.
Yes, apology. I think it's nothing extraordinary that we are doing. As I said, this is in our philosophy. This is who we are. Langar. Sikhs have been practicing and doing langar as long as we have known, and this is the practice how world will recognize this as well, especially in these times. But it's not just our Gurdwara, our country. Across the world, people are recognizing what Sikh contribution is in present days and time, especially in such difficult times. As I said, we are there to reach out to win people's heart. That's what we Sikhs are.
It's a lovely about the reaching people's hearts. Sorry, Kapri, you were going to say.
Yes, I would like to give a message to. There's a number of gurdwaras which have just, as soon as the lockdown was announced, put the talle on, sacked some of their gyanis and ragis, and just went into mothball mode. I would send a message: open your doors, get your sevadars in, and start making langar and feed the world around you. Make a difference. Now is a time for Sikhs to put our philosophy out, to put our Guru Ka Langar out. If we're unable to serve in the time of a crisis, then what have we learned from our faith? What have we learned? If we're putting talle on our door, saying "Asi langar nahi bana sakte," then I fail to understand what we've learned from our faith.
Well, I think the good thing is that you're leading the way. You're being an inspiration. You are learning, and hopefully they can call on your skills to say, what can we do, especially if they don't know where to start. Or and I'm not saying that's an excuse, but maybe if they are a little bit worried about how they can do all this, at least showing that you can do it.
There are many groups who are ready and able to support. So we're doing this from the Central Gurdwara, but we've actually had help from Khalsa Aid. They've sent us Russian. Guru Manio Granth Gurdwara Sahib have sent us Russian, and also SWAT. So what you're seeing here is all the Sikh orgs coming together. This is teamwork.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that those particular organizations are. It's great that they're working together. That sense of community is extended in terms of not only their networks, but also the people that they go out and help as well. And the fact that they can all come together and help each other out. That's a really great thing. Kind of the cross-fertilization of that skill set as well as support. That's an amazing thing to see.
make
the
the
lovely
server
things.
more.
Absolutely. So I'm
If
going
I
to
may
say
read
thanks.
out a few messages,
Yeah,
is that
sure.
okay?
That's okay. Yeah,
So
I was
there's
just
one of the comments.
close. You carry on.
So during the COVID-19 crisis, my block has been lucky enough to receive the most delicious and nutritious meals from your Gurdwara. We live in Robinson House, Bramley Road, and remember how we came together as different communities to help each other. Thank you for your support again during this pandemic. It means a lot. Another message. So there are quite a few. I really and these are individual messages that we gather from our feedback forms online. I really look forward to your meals that you provide to Charing Cross Hospital staff. Thank you very much. Lovely meals by Carl Sajata. Thank you for your hard work. Amazing food. So it just shows that a gesture of Seva is reaching out to people and how it makes a difference.
It
And I
really
think
does
that
make a
is
difference.
very, very important.
You're helping many lives out there, and you're helping a lot of people that are struggling, because one of the things that we see, and we're going to see this sadly due to the economic downturn that is expected and people report, is that even though hopefully we'll get over this in terms of we can't bring back the people that we've lost, and there've been some incredible people that we've lost. Every life, when I look at a number, I feel that it's not just a number; it's an individual that we've lost. And once we're over this, and they've found a cure, we need to be prepared for the future as well, in case other pandemics arrive too, and be prepared for that too. But that's a different discussion. But I do want to say that all of you have risen to the occasion to put in a lot of your personal time and your hard work and your brains, and to work as a sense of community to help communities, and it's definitely to be commended. And I say thank you on behalf of everyone. Who am I? I'm just somebody that's bringing you guys to talk about some of the things that people need to realize that people are doing in the background to support communities. So fantastic work, well done. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you very soon. We'll get you back on another show. You can tell us about what else is going on, and how actually, Gurpreet, maybe you're extending the service, so when things do come back to some sense of normality, that you can actually broadcast that as well. And Ranit, I think you'll be doing some great work, especially, you never know, the other positive thing that may come out of it is that virtual classrooms. So those who want to learn Punjabi or want to do Kirtan or learn Kirtan remotely, you could run some sessions. So there is some positivity out of the negativity that we're all in. So thank you so much. Vaidhi Ka Khalsa, Vaidhi Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Ah,
Thank you.
जी.
Paul Jewellers, the largest jewellers in Birmingham, established since 1978 with 3 showrooms on Soho Road and West Bromwich High Street. We have all the latest wedding and occasion jewellery, from traditional, antique, contemporary and stonework. Competitive rates, buy and exchange gold, custom orders are also available. Paul Jewellers, style, elegance, glamour where it matters.
ਪਾਕ ਸੁਪਰਮਾਰਕਟ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਘਰ ਵਰਗਾ ਮਾਹੌਲ, ਫਰੈਂਡਲੀ ਸਟਾਫ। ਇੱਥੇ ਆਟਾ, ਤੇਲ, ਘਿਓ, ਦਾਲਾਂ, ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਸਾਲੇ, ਸਾਫ਼ ਸੁਥਰਾ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਫਰੂਟ, ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਘੱਟ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਪਣੀ ਸ਼ਾਪਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ, ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮ, ਪਾਕ ਸੁਪਰਮਾਰਕਟ, ਕੇਪ ਹਿਲ, ਬਰਮਿੰਘਮ।
ਸਾਊਥ ਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਰਕ ਐਵੇਨਿਊ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਮੋਰ ਫੂਡਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੋਰ ਫੂਡਸ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਟਾ, ਦਾਲ, ਚਾਵਲ, ਫਲ, ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ, ਘਿਓ, ਤੇਲ, ਪਨੀਰ, 25,000 ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਸ। ਮੋਰ ਫੂਡਸ, ਮੋਰ ਡਿਸਕਾਊਂਟ at 100 South Road, South Hall.
For now, we must all still stay at home. It can be hard, but it's making a difference. So please keep going for the ones you love. Keep going for every key worker on the front line as they keep going for us. Keep going, because together we will beat the virus. To all of you making sacrifices every day, thank you.
Do you notice the way people behave when they're scared or have something to hide? Do you notice how smart people are? How vulnerable? The things they'll put up with, what they'll tell you, what they won't. Do you notice what's left behind? Can you gather the evidence, piece it together and follow it through to the end? Have you got what it takes to become a police detective? Apply for Police Now's National Detective Programme. Search Police Now Detectives.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਤਪਾਲ ਸੇਵਕ ਕੋ ਗੁਰ ਸਦਾ ਦਿਆਲ। ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਮੂਹ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਉਦਮ ਸਦਕਾ ਨੇਪਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸਾਰੇ ਗਏ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਬਨਕਟਵਾ ਵਿਖੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਸੁਖ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਅਤੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਸੁਖਮਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਸਮੇਤ ਲੰਗਰ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੀ ਰਿਸੈਪਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਹੇਠ ਲਿਖੇ ਨੰਬਰ 'ਤੇ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ ਜੀ। ਇਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਵਿਖੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵੀ ਲਈ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਦੋਹਰਾ ਸਗਲ ਦਵਾਰ ਕੋ ਛਾੜ ਕੇ ਕਹਿਓ ਤੁਮ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਾਕਾਂ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਬਿਰਥੀ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਨ ਕੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ, ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜਗਤ ਜਲੰਦਾ ਰੱਖ ਲੈ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਧਾਰ। ਦੁਨੀਆ ਭਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੈਲੇ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਕੋਪ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸੱਤੇ ਦਿਨ ਸਵੇਰੇ 9:30 ਵਜੇ ਅਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ 6 ਵਜੇ ਚੌਪਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਅਤੇ ਉਪਰੰਤ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਉਲੀਕੇ ਗਏ ਹਨ। ਪਾਠ ਅਤੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਵੋ ਜੀ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਰਤ ਕਮਾਈ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਦਸਵੰਧ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਲੋੜਵੰਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਘਰ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਦਾ ਸਾਥ